Well, thank you very much indeed. In Cape Town today, the Minister of Transport, perhaps I should still say the new Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, was unable to complete a planned trip on Metrorail because of a passenger incident on the line. He went on a crowded carriage today to see for himself what thousands of people they go through on a daily basis. Unfortunately, the train ran into problems and Mbalula eventually had to use a coach to move to his final destination. Unite Behind is an organisation that campaigns for better train services, particularly for people in the Western Cape. Zukie Vuka is an organiser there. Zukie, good evening to you. Thank you for your time tonight. The Minister saw for himself the problems that your members face. You were there with him. What was your message to the Minister today?
Good evening, Stephen, and thank you so much for allowing us to come and speak to you. Basically, we had 6 areas which we would like the Minister to look at. To firstly ensure that there is a permanent, ethical, qualified and competent board at PRASA, not the one that we have at this moment, which is an interim. And we'd also like him to make sure that the board has a commuter representative. Then the second one is that to make sure that at PRASA, all the people that are implicated in the state capture and all the people that in all the documents that PRASA has, which speaks to mismanagement and corrupting PRASA, all those people are arrested, they are charged and prosecuted eventually. And also to make sure that we are able to establish a security plan, right? Safety and security plan that is focused on commuters, particularly like the vulnerable people such as women, disabled people and elderly children. And we also said to him that we asked him to set out a clear 6-month plan to bring back the 2,000 damaged carriages. So what he said in response to that is that the 6 months that we're giving him is going to be too much. He wants to start working like immediately. And that was very impressive, and it was like very encouraging for us as Unite Behind to actually see that he's saying in live in television that he is willing to actually come and speak to Unite Behind. And we also was asking if we can meet with him, and he has agreed. And we gave him a list of a memorandum with the list of demands that I've just mentioned to you. And we were giving him a deadline of 2 weeks. And then he said to us, he's not going to meet us in 2 weeks. He's going to meet us next week again, which showed that he's willing to work with stakeholders and groups such as Unite Behind, the commuters and the people in general to make sure that the problem in the PRASA is being dealt with properly.
Okay, I mean, he seems to be making big promises. He seems to be almost cutting his own deadlines, if you like, shortening his own deadlines. Do you believe him?
Honestly, I think that he should be given a chance, just like any other minister that we have seen in rail. Right? We've seen minister at first. We had Minister Joe Musangai. He didn't do much. He was setting his own deadlines as well. We gave him deadlines and he was not able to meet them. Right? We also had Minister Blade Zimande, and there were promises that were made. And I just believe that we need to give a person, or we need to give him as a minister a chance to prove himself. So at the fact that he's setting his own deadline, it's not something that we're surprised to hear. They've been doing that, but then at the same time, it is going to be the same whip that he's going to be using to whip himself as well. Because if he's setting his deadline and then he's not speaking to them, we're gonna go back and say, this is what you said. Now, where are the results?
Well, how big is the challenge? I mean, what actually needs to be done in your view? I mean, we can start just, I suppose, by protecting the trains we have. We've seen so many trains in the Western Cape being set alight.
Firstly, as we said before, we need to establish a permanent board that has people with skills and a board that is not interim, right? Because at this moment, one of the biggest downfalls for PRASA as an entity is that for the past 10 years, they've not been able to appoint a permanent board, a board of people that we can constantly ask to come and account. So if you've got a board that constantly has people being changed because of the position being interim, so what we're saying to him is that he needs to make sure that we've got an interim board, people that people who can account, right? And then, secondly, we're saying that as commuters, PRASA at this moment does not have a safety plan that speaks to commuters themselves. how is it a passenger rail agency of South Africa if it does not prioritize commuters? Because at the moment they've got safety plan that speaks to infrastructure, that speaks to protection of the assets. That is not enough. So if those two things would be prioritized, and thirdly, one thing that I always stress about is that we've seen the new trains that were introduced by the president or that were launched by the president weeks before the campaign. And what we've been saying in response to that is that people should not be used as a strategy to campaign, but rather give us timelines, tell us where are these trains going to be and when. So that has not happened. And what we were saying is that on the plan, or even on the manifesto that the president read for the election, it didn't mention anything about a set plan or something that we would be looking forward to as commuter. So in regards to that, we're now saying that we know that PRASA has got about 2,000 carriages sitting somewhere. How about they start there? How about they start fixing the carriages and getting the trains working instead of telling us about the train or, giving us dreams that we're going to be having a train that are fast, trains that are working. That's not enough for us. People are dying in these trains. One of the reasons why I would say it's the reason because I was at the station this morning and they said that someone was hit by a train in Nyanga. Hence, the president could not complete his journey up until Langa. So he had to get off at Nyanga and then take one of the cars to the Langa station. So for us to be able to eliminate those casualties and also eliminate the delays and cancellations, we need to get more trains. We need to fix the infrastructure, which is old. We need to fix the signaling problems that we have. And we also need to make sure that we have competent securities that knows exactly what they're doing in those trains. Because, honestly speaking, I have also used the train. Yeah. So the people will...
Zukie Vuka, I'm afraid we are going to have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Do appreciate it. Zukie Vuka is an organiser at the organisation Unite Behind.